Are we live yet?
Yeah.
All right.
Do I need to scoot up? Do I need to turn?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. From the landing strip, it's the 351st edition of Houston Wrestling Radio. This is Abel.
This is Chris.
And thank you so much for tuning in. You can interact with us on Facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio, or just drop a comment down here below in the YouTube comments. We also have a Twitter at H Wrestling Radio, and we sometimes use Instagram, but I need to get better about that. Now, you're not watching us live, and there's a reason for that.
Do tell.
We decided to not go live tonight, at least, because the last two episodes we've had lots of butt fuckery with the technical
not to
aspects.
his chagrin, of course.
Not to my chagrin. Yes. We basically can't figure out what's wrong with the live feed, and we don't know if it's
us or YouTube or the equipment.
Yeah, or what. So we're trying to just do a private video, not live stream it, and then see if we can upload it and see if this fucking works. If it does, great. So we apologize for the Royal Rumble preview episode. Basically got cut off in the middle of the episode, unbeknownst to, well, at least half of us. Because I didn't say anything because I thought it was okay. Because
can we break the fourth wall for a second?
All right, go for it.
When we record on your computer,
right,
and we're doing this new YouTube studio butt fuckery, if the signal's not catching, it'll tell us the signal's not catching. Right. And you can tell, and I can tell.
Yeah.
So we know when it's off and when it's not off. The reason we switched to my computer this time was because we're not just apologizing for last week's episode. We tried doing a decade in review with Hector and with a new guy, Jimbo.
Yeah.
And we couldn't even get that off the fucking ground. 3 strikes and we were out.
Yeah. We didn't even record 8 minutes.
No. Which, not to mention, we painfully, to my chagrin, we deleted the first video because it could never stop. And that opening, cold open we did about how we all got into wrestling and our WrestleMania story.
How we knew each other.
Yeah, it was solid. It was platinum, beyond gold, and we couldn't even keep that. So we're not drastic, but we're taking measures to try to rectify the past, and this is step 1.
Yeah, we're trying to fix stuff. Hopefully this will work. We'll see at the end of the episode if this even sticks.
Yeah.
But if it does, yay! Yeah. So,
which, by the way, that decade in review is still coming.
Yeah, it's postponed. We may be able to do it later this week as long as this works. If that's the case.
As long as we get the people that we were supposed to get the first time.
That's true. That's true, too. That's proven to be an issue as well, trying to get the personnel back behind the camera. We'll see. But don't worry, folks. We'll try to get that decade in review. After all, if it's a month late, we're talking about an entire fucking decade.
Yeah, so we need a little more time.
We got time.
Yeah.
It's time.
We got another decade.
It's a lot to cover. So we like to do preview episodes. But since our preview episode got halfway fucked, we thought, well, let's do a review episode for Worlds Collide and the Royal Rumble.
So,
yes.
Normally what we would do, or what other shows would do, would jump right into the hot stuff. The stuff that's like fresh in people's minds, what everyone's talking about.
Okay.
However, in typical Houston Wrestling Radio fashion, we, not even a tenth of an ass reviewed Royal Rumble. But we gave a pretty good preview of Worlds Collide.
Right.
So how about we start with Worlds Collide?
Let's start with Worlds Collide.
What is your takeaway from the entire event that you saw in fragments?
Yeah, I did see it in fragments.
Explain to the people.
The first half on Sunday before I had to head down to Minute Maid Park. So I watched the first 3 matches Sunday, and then I watched I attempted to watch the last 2 matches after Raw, but I only saw the 4th match, not the 5th match, because I was dozing off at the main event. And we watched the main event right before we started recording. So, yes, I saw it in fragments. That being said, my main takeaway was that, holy fuck, that was a good show. That could be something that I will say at the end of the year. That may be a show of the year. Top to bottom, everything was really good. Top to bottom, it's giving me fits as to what's our match of the week. Top to bottom, it's making me question, should any one of these, if not maybe more, be match of the year? It was top to bottom a fucking solid ass show. Despite the fucking bullshit with the brand supremacy.
We tend to be our own worst enemy sometimes when it comes to pro wrestling, especially when it comes to takeovers. Because
you mean me and you or the IWC
in general?
Okay.
Because we have our hits and misses on the main roster stuff, but in a consensus, we agree that whenever there's a takeover, we're getting good shit.
Right.
And it's gotten to the point almost 30 takeovers later or network specials later that we're preconditioned. That even now, if we set our expectations at a 9 or a 10, chances are there's not a lot of things, if any, that will exceed expectations. And right off the bat, bro, the main event. Whew! So, forewarned, I have 3 match of the week matches that I'm like trying to figure out which one, or in last year's case, which 2 I put as match of the week. And
there is precedent. And
the first one is obviously the main event with Imperium. Not to disregard the other 2 matches when I say that that there wasn't a lot of stakes involved, because there are no titles on the line. Walter's a UK champ. Cole's still the US champ. The Red Dragon are still tag champs. There's belts there. None of them were defended. But there's stakes as a sense in motherfuckers went into someone else's home and beat the fuck out of them. So in retaliation, they cost the team Undisputed. They cost them their chance of going into the Dusty Cup, into the finals. So there's a reason for this to happen other than, oh, we need to ejaculate. Give me something to stroke to. Oh, by the way, Undisputed Era versus Imperium. There's stakes there. There's reasons why we're having this match. Man. Everybody played a role.
Almost.
Well, to an extent, everybody played their role. You know what? When McGuinness is like, everybody gave their all. Yeah, even the one that got knocked the fuck out. He left it all on the floor. He needs to visit New Orleans or something before he comes to Houston to get that brujeria work, because this is 2 in a row. War Games and now Worlds Collide, where Alexander Wolf is like,
yeah, he dies in Houston a lot. Apparently. Yeah.
Speak on. What's your first impression of the main event?
I would say it's definitely a match of the week candidate. I'm not sure exactly what's going to wind up being my match of the week pick, but I have arguments against this match being my pick. Okay. After second viewing, watching it solid all the way through, not dozing off, there were a lot of hiccups in the match. I mean, we just touched on it. Alexander Wolf getting knocked the fuck out. You know, which you want to commend both teams after that happened to say, hey, y'all did great improvising, picking up the script where it was you lost a guy. Yeah, you lost a guy, so I'm sure that's difficult, right? To kind of figure out what you're going to do after you lose a competitor in a match, right? So clap, clap, clap. But on the other hand, it's like, that's quite a botch. You know, I mean, is it a botch? I mean, does he have a glass jaw? I mean, he got hit. He got kicked pretty damn hard. Fish looked like he was guilty. He had guilty face. But like,
I swear it wasn't me. It was my twin brother.
If we look past that, if we look past okay, well, everybody gets one in one match, and yeah, they recovered very well. Okay. I find it hard to look past the other whiffs and botches that most notably Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel did whenever they were trying to do tandem offense. And, oh, man, I don't know. It's like that pulls a little bit away from me. I know you were just trying to make the argument saying that this is for something. It's brand supremacy is bullshit. It's an exhibition match for nothing. Okay, so you want to make the argument that there's, the story there. Yeah, the angles leading up to it were good. The angles coming out of it were good. But at the end of the day, it's for nothing. So that already, with that backdrop there, that's already making me like, if Alexander Wolf didn't get knocked the fuck out, and if those whiffs didn't happen, which
of the 2 whiffs were they?
Okay, so there was one where it was like a wheelbarrow DDT where not Bartel, the other one.
Eichner.
Eichner jumped off the rope to kind of plant him. He kind of missed his head, and
no, that was Eichner that did it, and Bartel had
Bartel had to just drop him. Yeah, he kind of missed. There was another one where it was like a tandem offensive kick, one on the outside, one on the inside,
running
to the dude in the corner, and it was like one, and then the other whiffed, and it was like, man, that would have been pretty if they had pulled it off.
And they were itching for a third.
They were itching for a third. Looks like they were going to try to do like some sort of pile driver, assisted pile driver, where somebody was coming off of the rope, and Eichner almost. Yeah, suplex or something like that. Eichner almost dropped the dude before he could get him up because he was supposed to catch him, right? He almost dropped him on his head. So I get it. This isn't ballet. I get it that this is very hard. I get it that you got to train for years and years, so you should respect the business. But when we're going to talk about whether or not this should be match of the year, you got to start peeping as much as you can. If this makes it to the list, I'm telling you, come January 2021, I'm going to vote this one no. This is not my match of the year. Can it be a candidate? Maybe. But fuck, the match was good. All the other stuff, all the other spots, the chemistry, the brutality of Walter. Fuck, man. That was the good stuff. But yeah.
I want to take a second to thank the crowd, man.
Please.
Okay. No, not
you were in the fucking crowd, you fucker.
I don't mean me.
Super kick.
I don't mean me.
Yeah. Hey, listen to this. Whenever they do a super kick, you can hear me.
The last couple of years, we've been wondering if Houston's becoming a marquee crowd. And then there are times where, say, a Raw or a SmackDown comes to town, and you're like, oh, I remember. We're Houston. That's not us.
Yeah, we're not a marquee crowd.
Yeah. We fucking love Walter to the point that we forget the other three exist. He was over as fuck.
Okay.
And for all the times that I complain about how there's a lot of empty spots or in the arenas and the stuff's not full, and I was blessed with seats at an angle where I didn't get all that in my periphery. Mm-hmm. So, like War Games, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
The arena was like 40%, 30% full for War Games, but it sounded like a fucking madhouse, and especially the matches we got in that fucking War Games.
Okay.
And this crowd Saturday, bro, they need to come back. we're all right. Man, it was a place to be. It was a fun show, man. There wasn't many dull moments. There was a little bit of idiocy in the opening, cheering Finn Balor because people just like Finn. Maybe the heel turn wasn't warranted, or maybe something's missing.
Have you seen his trunks?
I'm sure you did.
Hi, Papa.
I'm all about burgers. You love the sausage.
The sausage.
Yeah. But back to the main event.
Lord.
The flaws are notable. There's a couple of spots where there's stuff going on outside, and they kind of didn't understand who to go to. But some of that I can chalk up to they might have known what they were doing if there were 8 of them.
Yeah.
So for having to improvise and picking up and everybody pitching in to pick up Alexander Wolf's slack, I'm willing to forgive some of the things that were happening. Besides the 2 almost 3 botches and the freaking stiff kick from Bobby Fish, which by the way don't fuck with Bobby Fish. That's about the only negative that stands out in that match.
Okay.
The cohesion, Walter's presence, balls.
Walter does an awful lot with an awful little bit.
Yes.
Like, and you might want to make the argument that, he's just too green, so he doesn't do a whole lot. But the stuff that he does do, fuck, man. The chops and he could chop forwards, he could chop backwards, he could chop anyway. Holy shit, that looks brutal.
And this felt like this definitely felt like a tale of 2 different brands, because you're on the main roster. Brock's announcing that he's number 1. Nobody wants that smoke. Fucking out of everyone, fucking Roderick Strong, the little engine that could, is fucking running over Walter Chopfest.
True.
I haven't seen action like that since, I don't even know if you're going to remember this, Ring of Honor, WrestleMania 25 weekend.
Oh.
Katsuhiko Nakajima and Roderick Strong chopping the fuck out of each other till there were no titties left. That's what that felt like.
Okay.
Roddy was eating fucking Walter. Kylo stepping up to Walter with that accent smash and all the stiff shit. They were not scared. And I can appreciate that when you got all the main eventers don't want none of Brock, and then you got Walter and everybody's like, and you see what Walter can do. Dude, it sounded like a fucking firing range at one point in that goddamn garage with them chopping everybody to hell.
Yeah.
And it just it felt real. Like it felt like these guys wanted to fight.
Yeah.
It's not like they were afraid of it. They're like, man, come, I'll get some.
Yeah, we're gonna manage it and figure out a way to win. Yeah. No, they were trying to beat the guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think
that's a good point.
And I think Walter gave everyone. I think Walter gave his partners enough room to breathe so that we can appreciate them too. Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of Fabian Eichner since the U.S. NXT, but some of the spots that they were doing, for example, when O'Reilly had the leg lock on Bartel, and Bartel he's not trying to reach the rope, he's trying to pull himself close enough to the edge of the apron so that Eichner can do the double hop into the moonsault.
Yeah,
and not to mention, you pointed the flaws out earlier. I'm sure those in other matches in NXT UK, if we were to look back at them, not only do they connect, they look fucking brutal. So it felt like, again, there's a lot. You already have a lot on your plate, and then we're trying to fill in for someone else that's supposed to help. I think you're going to get a misfire here and there.
Right.
And everybody in Undisputed Era, everybody in that match looked good. All of them. I really can't. That fucking Olympic slamming through the table. Dude.
That was pretty cool.
Axe smash. Cool. Again, O'Reilly not afraid. Axe smash to Walter, and then Olympic slam through the table. And then 10 minutes later, the crowd, their Undisputed Era is jumping one of the Imperium guys outside, and the crowd's going apeshit. And what the on television? What the fuck's going on? Oh shit! Walter came back from the dead. Somebody gonna die. So he got tagged in. Everybody got it.
Yeah.
Did the right team win?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the right team won. Because I think you want to get, especially with an event like this, you want to get a little bit of shine on the lesser known quote unquote brand. So yeah, I mean, is this problematic for Undisputed Era? Maybe it's a little problematic for their story because, they just lost this high-profile match. But, again, remember, they're the heels. You want to see them lose.
And they got TakeOver in 2 weeks to focus on. So this will be in their rear view pretty quick.
So this could be a good, maybe not even a rear view, but part of the story of the decline or the unraveling of the prophecy. I mean, you already had Roddy lose the North American title. Then you had him as a group lose to Imperium. Now the NXT title's on the line at the next show. Well, what about the tag titles? They're all going to be on, like, oh shit, like they could just fucking lose everything.
Well, the winner of the Dusty Cup's going to get a title shot, so it could be the Bros joint manipulation against Fish and Kylo.
Yeah, for the grizzled young
or
vets.
Even grizzled.
Yeah. So it could be it could be interesting.
Hairy,
it could get real hairy. Yeah.
My other contender for match of the week that's on this show, Mustache Mountain against DIY. Everyone in that arena ate it the fuck up. I don't think even the agents or anyone backstage knew how over this was going to be.
Yeah.
I feel like they might have cut the women's match a couple of minutes short because it turned out that match became the buffer because everyone fucking was gassed almost after the end of that match. That match, for contrast, Undisputed Era and Imperium felt like a fucking war. DIY versus Mustache Mountain had everything. It had humor. Okay. It had respect. It had disrespect. It had shit going outside. It had counters. It had great wrestling. It had great charisma from everyone. It had callbacks. I for like the times that we were nitpicking the stuff in the main event.
Yep.
You're gonna have to help me, or somebody eventually later on is gonna have to help me because I can't find a flaw in that tag match.
Yeah.
Unless you're about to prove me wrong.
Well, I don't know if I could say that there's a glaring flaw, like something that happened in the match that was fucked up, like the botches in the main event, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that I saw those botches there. Was the match good? Yes, it was good. Again, top to bottom, this entire card was fucking great. Like, I don't think I would rate like the lowest match I'd probably rate would be like a 9.5. Like everything was at a 10 or damn near 11, right?
Wow.
So this match was I would say it a fucking 10. This match was a 10, right? I would say the girls match 9.5, the main event 9.5. This match was a 10. The only reason why the girls match 9.5, it felt like uneventful, it felt short. The main event, well, we already talked about it, why I think it's 9.5. This match was a 10. It had everything, all the stuff that you just listed. And I'm willing to call it a candidate. Before walking in your door in here, in my mind, I have two candidates that I know for sure I want to say are candidates, and one that might be because I fell asleep and I need to rewatch. And that being the main event. Okay, yeah. So now that I'm eliminating the main event, now it's just down to two matches for me for my entire week, and they're both on this show. I have one that I want to lean towards, but I could be persuaded out of it. And I think it's a classic HWR conundrum of Angle's storyline and storytelling versus the shit that happens between the bells. So my other match that you asked me, 30, 40 minutes ago before we started recording, what's your match of the week pick? And I said the 4-way for the 205 Live Championship on Worlds Collide. And I think, again, you look at these two matches and they're on here or in my mind for different reasons. That's what happened on our match of the year list last year, right? We had two different matches from Wrestle Kingdom, same show, for two different reasons.
Double or Nothing.
Was it double or nothing? Sorry, Double or Nothing. Yeah.
One was story, one straight.
Yeah. So what I was going with was the one that was just straight. The shit I haven't seen before, the type of stuff in the matches that like catches my attention. Like, that's a new spot. I've never seen that. That's cool. That's that 4-way match, man. That 4-way match really got my attention. It really got my juices going. Was I looking forward to DIY more storyline wise? Fuck yes, I was. And I like the story there.
You gave it a 10.
Yeah.
And you previewed it as a 10.
Yeah.
That cruiserweight match, I think it exceeded your expectations.
It exceeded my expectations. I'm also giving it a 10 too. Yeah. I just don't know which one I want to pick as my match of the week. But it's for different reasons. I think, but now see, okay, the compare and contrast from those all-in or Double or Nothing matches, they were like, woof, totally different night and day for like what happened between the bells story.
Yeah.
These two matches are a little bit closer together, a little bit, but still, it's different reasons, right? Yeah. Different reasons. Seeing DIY again, seeing Ciampa and Gargano, seeing them together.
That moment
was great.
That moment was great. I've been begging on Facebook for
somebody make a gif of that.
That's me and Scott whenever we're across the country getting into hijinks. Just
fucking Mustache Mountain too. They really getting into it at the very beginning of the match, showing respect. It's like, okay, cool. Now again, this brings me to the other point, which I'm gonna harp on a lot because I did it for Survivor Series. Brand supremacy. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
With this match, why were they wrestling? Brand supremacy. Okay.
One called out the other on Twitter.
Okay.
And then a backstage segment away from the audience. One more time for all times. Yeah.
It's an exhibition match.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. This is just an exhibition. It was a fun exhibition. It was a good exhibition. There was intricate storylines between the dynamics of not necessarily the competitors, but of the teams themselves. That was good. And getting more of Tyler Bate and Trent Seven together and their dynamic, you can see Tyler Bates maturing a little bit, so there's more stuff to bite into when it comes to the story on that. Now, does that mean that what happened between the bells was terrible? No, what happened between the bells is exactly what I would expect out of these four guys.
And on paper, you can't find a flaw in it.
Right. Right.
So it comes down to you want a big diamond with a couple of flaws, or you want a small perfect diamond.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know, because goddamn Swerve. Swerve's house. Fuck, man. I love Swerve, man. I love all the shit that he does. And it seems like every time I watch him, it's giving me those same feelings that I had about him and Ricochet and all the other Lucha Underground staff when I would watch Lucha Underground. Stands the crazy characters, just the shit that they would do in the ring that you don't see anybody else do. I saw shit in that match that I don't remember seeing. That Rubik's Cube move? What the fuck was that? Is on the turnbuckle, boom, into a reverse power bomb into a small package, but not a small package, it's just a pin. What the hell?
Nothing about Swerve
is a small package. Like, that was so cool. That was such a cool move, you know? Like, there was innovative shit in there as far as, like, moves go and flashiness. So, I don't know. I said enough.
In front of Houston, it was a great Monterrey-ish homecoming for Angel Garza. We were eating all that up, man.
Yes.
To the point where, not to look too far into the future, but, man, I think he can be the star that people in the company are expecting Andrade to be.
Oh, I'm glad you went there. Because
I'm not talking about backstage stuff.
I'm not talking about
what
either.
Andrade does off the clock. We'll get there.
Right, we'll get there.
But Angel's he has a legit charisma that breaks languages. Andrade's over here, and good to him, and especially because he's dating Charlotte. He's learning English,
right?
But I feel like he has to pick up the language because whatever charisma, whatever character he's saddled with, isn't enough. Angel Garza is enough.
I think
he's fucking good.
I don't get me
Second
wrong.
generation.
Don't get me wrong. I love Andrade.
Cien almas.
I love him. I was turned around on him. I thought he was boring. I was turned around on him at War Games with him versus
McIntyre.
I like the guy, you know, but there is a lack of charisma. Now, is it because of the language barrier? Para mí, no. Para mí, no. I understand when he says shit. You know, I get it. Man. I still think that even if you take away the language barrier, there's a certain lack of charisma there. At least like cutting promos and stuff. You know, when The Rock cuts promos, if you speak Spanish and you don't know what the fuck The Rock is saying, you can still tell whatever he said was good. Same way with him. You know, you may not understand what he's saying in Spanish when they let him speak Spanish, but it's like, okay, it's a little flat.
And not to mention, for as broken as it could be at times, hearing him on commentary, the NXT episode before, I think his English right now is still better than Andrade's.
You know who is definitely better than? Humberto Carrillo.
Mm-hmm.
See,
but Humberto's got a different little aura around him.
And here's where I want to go. You brought this up, and I was holding on to this until we got there, which is if you take Humberto Carrillo's, his like in-ring ability, turn it down just a little bit, right? Mm. And you take all the stuff that you do like from Cien, and you put it together, and you give it more charisma, you got Angel Garza.
Oh, wow.
Angel Garza outranks both of these guys. Like on the fucking WWE
and without help.
Raw versus SmackDown stat sheet, right? Yeah. Your creator wrestler stat sheet.
Your super card.
Yeah. His stat sheet on charisma is better. His stat sheet is for in-ring is better than Andrade, maybe not better than Humberto. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's got charisma.
For example, Devlin, to his credit, knew who he was in the ring with. I think it was Devlin. He got more heat on him because he stopped Angel from doing his pant gimmick.
Yeah.
You know, and he's got enough stuff where 2 or 4 or 5 years later, that's going to be the baby face that a lot of the Mexicans are going to be like, ese es mío. That's my guy.
Mm-hmm. Which, how long have they been searching for that, man?
They tried with Del Rio, and
didn't work. I mean, for a cup of coffee, it worked.
It worked in the WWE universe in America, but that didn't fly in Mexico.
No.
Yeah.
And Ray isn't who he used to be, right?
And they really haven't done much to change Ray.
Right. You know? And I'm going to say it. Since Eddie died, you haven't had that one Mexican superstar that even the United States and Mexico can get behind and be like, ese way?
Pure.
Yeah.
Ray's push was because of Eddie. It wasn't anything that Ray did.
Del Rio's don't take away a lot from Ray. It's just that Ray isn't at that fever pitch that he was.
Oh, but we're not talking Ray from WCW now. Like, if you're telling me Ray from WCW, fuck Eddie Guerrero. But if you're talking Ray WWE since Eddie, that's not. I don't think of anything Ray has done right now post Eddie.
Since Eddie, and okay, maybe
sidebar, but this is just
I know, right? Fun. Since Eddie, you haven't had that Mexican superstar that the Americans and the Mexicans all are enamored with. That fucking love. You've tried it with several different ones. Sin Cara? Hell no, that was a flop. But they were kind of hoping.
Ranking them right now, if I'm talking Andrade in main roster, I'm ranking Garza, Carrillo, Andrade.
Okay.
Now, if we're talking Andrade NXT, it's 1A and 1B with Garza and Andrade. But I think now, in that atmosphere, I think that they're not letting him go all the way. I think something's keeping him back. There's not letting him do his full potential in the main roster.
You mean Cien?
Yeah. Which right now in NXT, in that sandbox, you can do whatever you want in that sandbox, and everybody's just living it up in there. And Exhibit A is Angel, and everyone played well off of him. I already knew how good Jordan Devlin was. We know, we've got equity in Swerve. For anybody that doesn't know or has been a little rusty, Kiwi Buzzsaw, he's legit too.
Yeah.
And all of them played well.
My first time seeing that dude. I loved him in that match.
Yeah. So you didn't even see him in he had a couple of matches the last couple of weeks in NXT against Pete Dunne and against somebody else. Travis Banks has been kicking some ass.
In NXT or NXT UK?
NXT on USA.
Really?
He's been on USA this last couple months.
All right, I don't remember, but all right, fine, whatever. But
he's good shit.
Well, I noticed him now. Now I fucking noticed him. Yes. Yeah, and that match, not only did it solidify for me Angel Garza, it also introduced me to a new superstar that I'm like, oh, that guy. We had Swerve that I'm like, okay, they're going to treat him right.
And Baby Finn.
And then Baby Finn. And then you had the title, the title.
And the title change.
Yeah, and the title change.
A new title.
Yeah.
Got rid of that blue.
But then you belt. So it's
rid of that blue.
Fuck, man. I kind of want to say that's my pick. I hesitate because I love Ciampa and Gargano, and I love Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's good. I don't love him, but he's good. He's Mario Ellie. He's not Clyde or Hakeem. He's Mario Ellie, But he still got a ring.
We'll wait till the end.
Okay.
To talk brass tacks.
All right.
To break out the W2s. But for now, there's a third match I want to talk about. That's my match of the week pick. But I want to finish Worlds Collide because you got me thinking about something.
Okay.
You said everything on this card was either a 9.5 or higher. You're giving Finn versus Dragunov a 9.5?
Yeah.
Or is it higher?
9.5.
You're 9.5?
9.5.
What's keeping you from the 10?
Importance.
That's going to be a lot of this for you, other than the cruiserweight. That's the only thing that had a legit marble on the stake.
Yeah. Importance. It was fun. I don't think it was as car crashy as the 4-way or hell, even the tag.
I don't think it had to be because Dragunov's not a flyer.
True.
He's more of a pound you.
True.
And he came.
See,
I thought the styles would clash between him and Finn, but they meshed well together. And most of that, I'm giving most of that credit to Finn.
I'm not somebody who watches NXT UK, right?
Mm-hmm.
My erection for Travis Scott. What's his name? Travis Baker. Yeah, that guy. My erection for him. Travis Banks. Yeah, that guy. My erection for him is parao.
You went from 6 to midnight on Saturday.
Yeah, on Dragunov, I was like, okay, well, that's a nice little fluffer. I'm kind of 6 to about 9.
He's just playing with the goods.
Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. I see what you got. And I'm still kind of afraid with what they're doing with Finn. or the lack of what they're going to do with Finn, I don't know. Like, I'm not sold yet on this take him back now to NXT experiment with Finn yet. Mm-hmm. So there's some hesitation there. So because in my mind, this match isn't important, and you put Finn at the beginning of a show for a non-important match. Okay, that makes me apprehensive. Was the match good? Fuck yes.
It woke the crowd up.
But I think Baby Finn did a better job than Finn Sr. on that particular night. Finn? Yeah, Finn. Scooty Puff Jr. was better than Scooty Puff Sr. that night.
Okay.
Yeah.
My comment's pretty short as far as the women. It was a good match.
It was good.
It wasn't their best out of the three. Right. Obviously, in that card, it became what it had to be, which was a buffer because of the what they were sandwiched in between. But it was still a great showing for both the girls. Overall, Worlds Collide was I'll say it. Worlds Collide was a fucking 10.
Okay, that's fine. Boom.
Even Mia Yim and Kaylee was actually good, and that was pre-show, and that was still that was a nice appetizer. I didn't
see that.
That was a nice appetizer. Kaylee came out with it cheating, but she's a heel and she's from UK, so that's what you're supposed to do. You know.
Do I need to go back and watch that?
If you want. I'm not ranking this fucking like to the moon, but it was a good match in the moment. Obviously, because I was there, I had to see it. You know, but I was looking forward to it when we did the preview. You know, give me Mia Yim anytime. Yeah. Give me an opportunity to like Kaylee Ray. So I was all about it. So, but you obviously were there for the Rumble. Was that number 2? Is that your second Rumble?
That's my second Rumble.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a Rumble in San Antonio a few years ago. Yeah. Four Rumbles ago, correct?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
4.
17 and then 18, 19, 20. So it's 3 Rumbles ago.
No, because this Rumble that just happened is a go as of a day or two ago.
Still fresh.
Yeah. Okay.
First impression of the whole show. It's over. Drew's the winner. You're getting out of the stadium, hopefully not getting into too much traffic. What's the lingering thought that pops into your mind? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you mad? Because there was some of that I'm still trying to decipher. But
I came out of it satisfied and happy. Yeah. I'm happy. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Yeah. This was a really good weekend for wrestling. For WWE, right? Like, this is really good. I had my jaded Marky lowered expectations for a lot of shit, and those expectations were exceeded. Now, was this fucking Wrestle Kingdom? No. You know, were there things that are still left to be desired? Yeah, a little bit. But the shit that exceeded my expectations far outweighed the stuff that fell below my expectations. In fact, I don't think anything fell below my expectations. I think everything exceeded it. Maybe that's because I was there, but I don't know. I think
now you know how it feels.
I think I was still trying to be objective enough. You know.
Let's start with the men.
Yes.
Brock Lesnar's greatest hits. First, we've got the first 10 out of the way. What are you thinking? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan of Lesnar plowing through some of these guys?
I hated it in the moment when we were at like 5. And then when we were at like 9, I'm like, these motherfuckers are going to do it. But I think part of my psychology jumping ahead to the Rumble match is kind of hard for me to explain my headspace, because what I was thinking, of course, you know, my prediction last week or whenever we did the show that didn't make it to air was that whoever eliminated Brock is going to challenge Brock.
Yeah.
Not
necessarily need the win.
And that person's not going to need the win.
But yeah.
Right. And whoever does win will fight Bray, right? Now, I came out of Bray's match at the night, and this is where I'm saying I don't want to jump too far ahead into the men's match, because this was my mindset. When Bray's match happened, and it looked like that there was some legitimate ways that Daniel Bryan should have fucking won that match, and then he didn't. And then I just get replays in my head of what he did to Seth and everybody else, and how Bray's just been so fucking unstoppable. The same way how this time last year, Brock Lesnar was so fucking unstoppable. And me thinking, how the hell are you ever going to build anybody to be halfway to the point where I could believe that you could touch Brock and you could actually beat him? How am I to believe that? How can you ever build somebody? And then I'm sitting there watching Bray thinking that this is the guy. This is the guy that they're building to take the fucking belt off of Brock so Brock could go away for a little while, and you have the title on somebody that's a fucking monster who can just as easily not be a fucking monster because it's all in his head. His super strength and his superpowers come from his psychosis. So if he gets healed from his psychosis, or if he's just Bray and not the Fiend, well, then it's back on a level playing field now. You got D-Bry, you got Seth, you got Roman, anybody could beat Bray Wyatt on a good day. But when you're fighting the Fiend could fucking demolish Brock. So in my mind, I'm thinking my prediction was wrong when I'm watching Brock eliminate everybody. Holy fuck. They're going to give it to Brock. Brock is going to say, I won the Rumble. I have this title. I want that title. Because he had the balls to say, I'm going to walk in number one at Rumble, and he had the balls to win it. So why not have the balls to challenge for the Universal title while you're the WWE champion at Mania? Challenging a monster, and then lose. And then that was the whole point of the Fiend. So in the arena, once we got the match being over, ka-choom, lights went out, ka-choom, lights came back up. I stood up in my row, told the rest of the folks that were with my crew, then yelled it all the way to the very end because there was 11 of us in the crew. And the people in front of me heard it too. I say, Brock's fucking winning because he's going to challenge Bray, and Bray's the only person that can beat Brock. That was my prediction. So when I was at number 5, I was like, fucking fuck. When I was at number 9, I was like, holy shit, they're going to do it. When they were at 15, I was like, I can't believe what I'm watching.
Don't go that far.
Okay.
We're still at 10. We're still at 10 or 11 or whatever. We're still at 10.
Yeah.
We know people.
Okay.
Some people that weren't a fan of the Rumble. At least not the beginning part of it.
You talking about Travis?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm not going to name names. But we'll see if you can figure it out.
He's talking about Travis.
No, I'm not. Actually, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
But we both know who he and she are.
At this point, I don't know. Go. I know.
I walked into the Royal Rumble thinking, remember, I've said this on the show more than once. The WWE is not directed towards me. The WWE is not for the fans. The WWE is for one singular person. Vince McMahon. We're all in his world. We're just living it. Mm-hmm. So that already tempered my expectations. Number 1. Sidebar. I hope fans finally understand the severity of the situation when it comes to Phillip Brooks. Unless you've never been married, or unless you've never been wronged to the point that you are seething for a long time, it would be in your best interest to just put him behind you. Just assume from here on out, like I accepted years ago, CM Punk will never, ever step inside a WWE ring again. So that if for whatever reason hell freezes over and we're ice skating on it and number 22 pops up one Rumble and it's and we all react to Punk the way we reacted to Edge, that's for your best benefit. I don't want to hear anyone complaining that the Rumble sucked because Punk wasn't there. I'm done with CM Punk in the WWE. I've put it behind me. It's best for everyone else to do that also. Back to the situation at hand. I already have my expectations tempered for those 2 reasons. So I wasn't expecting either of those things. So I was extremely pleasantly surprised at what we ended up getting. I, for once, never thought that Shinsuke Nakamura was winning the Rumble.
Right.
But I did want, just once, to see two former New Japan IWGP heavyweight champions face to face against each other.
Okay.
We got that.
For a cup of coffee, less than a cup of coffee.
People,
but it happened.
People stand in line for hours at Starbucks, bruh. Coffee.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen what would have happened if, for whatever reason, another Paul Heyman guy stepped up to Brock. And man, did I mark the fuck out when Cesaro's name came out on the screen and he was machine gunning uppercuts and Lesnar fiended up and ate them all and threw him out.
New Day and Ray. Oh, that was a good spot.
The story with Kofi.
Yes.
Hey, can Kofi last longer than 6 seconds? He did. Lesnar sold for him. Just like he did sell for Cesaro, just like he did sell for fucking Shinsuke Nakamura.
He sold for Big E. Big ending. I can't believe Big E pulled off a big ending.
Yes.
On Brock. That was so cool.
Former Impact champ Bobby Roode got some licks in. I would have never expected Bobby Roode to have gotten any time with Brock.
Yeah.
Who else? Morrison was like, holy fuck.
Morrison's like, okay, I guess I got to do this.
Yeah.
But I could also see both in their minds, like, I remember you. I remember you. Because they were from the same era.
And they're like, you know what? We're going to do this spot. You're going to look awesome the way you take it. And you're just going to make me look even better in this win-win.
Yeah.
Dude, I re-saw with a casual viewer that Rumble match, and mind was blown with that whole sequence of Morrison suplex without grabbing the rope, without any protection, and just falling over, both feet touching the floor. There were a lot of moments that Lesnar gave us.
Yeah.
Leading up to Keith motherfucking Lee. Preach. Go.
Now, see, I'll tell you about the way that I was feeling, right? And I was like, they're actually going to give it to Brock. They're actually going to do it. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. Wow, this whole full of all kinds of conflicting emotions because I want to be pissed, but I want to be excited. And I'm mad that this is happening, but it also is pretty remarkable. You know, kind of like how I felt after the 2019 World Series. I was like, this is fucking bullshit that Astros didn't win. This is fucking bullshit that the road team won every single match. But you know what? You did good, DC. You know? So that's kind of how I was feeling about this. And Keith fucking Lee came out, and you know what I was even happier about, other than the fact that he came out? I was happier that motherfucker got the second biggest pop of the Rumble. His pop was amazing. Now, when I went back and rewatched it on the network, you didn't hear it, but I also... the acoustics or something in there weren't good at all, because for the entire night it was not nearly as loud as it actually was sitting up there in the crowd in the stands. I don't know if you know this, but at the very end of the Rumble, Corey starts talking about standing ovation, motherfucker. All 40,000 of us were standing from number 1 all the way to the very end of that Rumble match. Nobody sat down for that fucking match. We were all on our feet, however long the match lasted.
That back. I did, but I'm 6 feet, and I didn't want to block the 8-year-old that was sitting.
But I bet you were up and down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part, it was a standing ovation. Not an ovation, but a standing like, is happening the entire time, right? But let me circle back around to Keith Lee. Keith Lee's pop was amazing. Oh, Baskin is 40,000 people, main roster at a big
off key. It's hard to get us all in one group, but
at a big 4 pay-per-view, motherfucker is over, and my heart grew 3 sizes that day. Yes, but then I was like, Keith Lee, you big dummy. What the fuck are you doing?
You gonna die.
He had a chance. He had a shot thought he was holding his own. Then Braun came in. It's like, okay, great. Brock's going to be eliminated between Braun and Keith Lee. All they have to do is temporary alliance and get rid of the Beast. But you big dummies! What the fuck? Why were you fighting each other? You big dummies! Like, oh.
Quick little rewind for everybody that for whatever reason hated that Rumble. Go back and watch Brock selling the stuff that he was selling the big ending. Motherfucker pulling out his inner Alex Wright dancing to MVP.
Yes, that was funny.
The look on his face when Keith Lee walked in the ring and he goes to Paul Heyman. Who's this motherfucker? But watch when, because remember, again, think about this. Who was the first person to knock Brock off of his feet?
I don't know who.
Motherfucking Keith Lee.
Oh,
look at Brock's face after Keith Lee knocks him off his feet. That look of fear keeps a made man. Between that look and the fist bump from Roman at Survivor Series, within the next 3 years, he's heavyweight champion.
Okay.
On the main roster, within 3 years, he's heavyweight champion. He's made.
He better be.
He took it to Roman and he stepped up to Brock and he knocked him off his feet. The only other person was Braun, but that's because it's fucking Braun. He's done it more than once. We expect that from him. But no, that pop when Keith Lee came out, that's 2A. 2B was him knocking Brock off his feet. Because that crowd, when he did that, people realized, oh, that's a big motherfucker.
And they could actually eliminate Brock.
Yeah.
Because other people not thinking like me are still pissed off that Brock is in there and they don't want to see Brock win.
In that moment, there was one nit I had to pick, but that's just me being a bit selfish.
Out with it.
Walter. And I don't mean Walter throwing out Lesnar. For the things that Lesnar did to his opponents, and we'll get to the money shot in a minute. Imagine the story you could tell. Sure, Walter, like Nakamura, like fucking Cesaro, like MVP. He gets eliminated in like 45 seconds.
Right.
But what if he got one shot in? And by one shot, I mean... and for the next 15 minutes, all you see is a purple-faced Brock Lesnar and a fucking handprint the size of New York City.
Okay.
And maybe 3 or 4 months down the road, WWE's like, hey, Brock, how about a 2-week paid vacation to London? Just one favor. Show up to that TakeOver UK and get you some of Walter.
Oh.
And remind him you don't fuck with the Beast. Okay. And see if we don't do something next year with this. Just let it simmer on the side.
Yeah.
Because he was doing so, because it's easy for people to see the glass half empty. Oh, Nakamura's out in 45 seconds. He's former Rumble winner. Oh, MVP, white man rage because he's out or whatever. Oh, Cesaro. Oh, Shelton Benjamin. That was a fucking laugh.
That was funny.
That was a fucking laugh. But you're not looking at what you should be seeing. You're just complaining of what you don't see. You know? And the way Lesnar was selling all the little things to make people understand why they belong in the same ring with Brock. This ain't your run-of-the-mill guy that you see every week. This is fucking Brock Lesnar. He's only here 5 pay-per-views a year, if you're lucky. So who did he work with in this one pay-per-view? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Shut the fuck up. Really?
Now he did it wasn't 12, it was 13, right?
I think it's more than he eliminated 13, but then he still had Drew and Rico in the ring.
Okay, but my point there is that he tied the record.
So technically he tied the record that Braun set, but Braun did that in a 50-man. Lesnar did it in a 30-man.
Yeah, and he did it consecutively.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's impressive. Yeah. Consecutively.
Yeah.
All right.
So then
McIntyre.
So
there in the moment, that was probably the 3rd biggest pop of the Rumble when Brock actually got eliminated. Now, here's where Abel's situation. We're not talking about in general. What Abel's situation, there was a little bit of assholery involved.
Of course.
Because
I saw who you were sitting.
We had a Rumble competition. What do you call
Pool.
it? Like a pool. Thank you. We had a Rumble pool going. All 11 of our crew, right? Including the children's. And guess who happened, by luck of the draw, to get number 1?
You.
Gwen.
Oh, no.
10-year-old Gwen. So she was taunting her dad. Well, this is too easy. You guys, Brock is throwing people out left and right. She's thinking she's going to win the Rumble pool, and she's all excited. And then Brock gets thrown over, Claymore over. The arena erupts, everybody. And I'm sitting next to Gwen, and I'm like, yeah! And I'm like going crazy. She's like, no, did I lose? I go, yes, he's eliminated. He got it. And then she's like, goes to her daddy or to Aaron, and Aaron just starts fucking taunting her. Ha ha! Because she was taunting him because he had a few picks.
She started crying.
That got thrown out. She started bawling her eyes out. She started bawling her eyes out.
This is why I can't have kids.
I
would have kept going.
I had to let her get some of the boo-hoos out. I'm like, it's okay. I know you didn't win the pool, but it's better that Brock doesn't win. Like, I was trying to level with the 10-year-old to tell her why Brock shouldn't win and why this is a good thing. But it was,
oh my God.
But that is my personal, weird story about it. But in the arena, there was like this cathartic, energy just went out over everybody, where all of a sudden, if everybody was like, oh, we're gonna be pissed. Oh, this is bullshit. Piss. How lately the Rumbles have been, when you weren't D-Bry, when Punk wasn't there, when this and that, when so and so won, when Rumbles notoriously in the last decade. This could be a good thing about the decade episode. Last decade, the Rumbles have been something to be pissed off about, and we were starting to go that way.
That's why
we were starting to go that way, and then holy shit, he got eliminated, and then it started to temper a bit because of Roman, but we'll get there. But when Drew eliminated him, fuck, that was like, I posted a question on Facebook, fuck, is Drew McIntyre a face? And people are like, oh yeah, he's been a face for a couple of weeks. Nah, he's been a face for 2 days.
He's been flirting.
He's been flirting with being a face. When he knocked out Brock, insta baby face. Everybody all of a sudden knew who the fuck Drew McIntyre was.
No.
Yes.
The face turn didn't happen until last night when he cut the promo.
No, the face turn happened. I was there, bro.
So was I. I was looking.
But you were wrong.
So here's the thing. Again, the people that are complaining about the Rumble, you can't have one without the other. If it was anyone else, it wouldn't have had the same meaning. Like a record. I've been around. I've never gone from sexual tension to nut bust in that moment, the way we built up from Brock killing even some people that I cherish.
Yeah.
To suddenly, boom, Claymore country out. Holy shit. That if you go in WrestleMania wondering why do people care so much, it isn't because Drew eliminated Brock. It's because Drew eliminated a guy that killed almost half of the Royal Rumble by himself.
Yeah.
It could have been Roman Reigns, but it had to have, if Roman eliminated 15 people and then he got eliminated, you would have got that same reaction. If it was Drew just eliminating MVP number 9 out of nowhere, that's nothing. That shit happens every Royal Rumble. We'd never had a stake like this before. A guy willingly wanting to go at number 1. Oh, he has the hardware to back it up. He has the resume to back it up.
Yeah.
He's won a fucking Royal Rumble already, which people forgot about,
Which is part of the, people getting pissed off at Rumble stuff.
Yeah.
It was a little bit further ago, but yeah.
And you know who else he put over?
Who?
That people are forgetting? Ricochet.
Yes.
We had the callback. Ricochet was not afraid of Brock. Brock kicked him in the nuts. Who knew that out of all the training, all the drug tests, the failed drug test, the one supplement he should have been taking was Blue Chew, because every time he gets hit in the nuts, he loses. Every time. Fuck chicken legs. He needs Blue Chew.
And that kind of, if you look at it, that was a heel elimination, right? Low blow, and then the side swipe. The you weren't expecting the Claymore.
He ate that Claymore like
he did.
Millionaire.
He did. But by all rights and purposes, that type of elimination should have been considered a heel elimination. But just because it was Brock, it's not.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Heyman brought it up at some point between now and Mania. We have another Ricochet versus Brock match on a random Raw or something like that. But at some point, it might get addressed that the only reason why Drew got eliminated Brock is because of the low blow, which is a heel thing. But okay, fine, whatever.
But if we're keeping in track, if we're in lockstep with the story, people that Brock eliminated, either he had past history with, or were what ifs.
Yeah.
Brock is gone, and you think the story's over.
No.
It's not over.
That was beautiful.
Every elimination Drew did after, he went right back to Brock and looked at him or looked at Heyman to remember, you were the next big thing. Now I'm the next big thing. And he looked at Heyman and maybe Brock, depending on where he was at headspace, and looked at him and had the crowd in the palm of his hand, Claymore country, out the fucking wall, and they put over the fact that like 16 people were eliminated by two dudes. Lesnar got out the first 14, and then Ricochet got out. McIntyre got out the next 3 or something.
Yeah,
and he kept throwing some people out, and then
kept eyeballing Lesnar.
Every moment he went back to Lesnar's like, I want you to see this in your dreams. You are not going to escape me.
And then that's when I reverted back to my original thesis from last week, whereas the person that eliminates Brock is going to get Brock, and that person's going to get eliminated, and then whoever wins the Rumble is going after Bray.
Yeah. God, and then even when Brock was leaving, Drew was still eyeing this fool. In that moment, I forgave the booking for nobody wanting to step up, because at the end, Drew did what had to be done, and he reminded everyone that he did what had to be done.
Now, this is kind of the tale of two Rumbles almost.
That was said on commentary.
Yeah. So Brock dominated the first half, and then you can reasonably say Drew dominated the second half. Yeah. Once Brock went away, then we had the big pop. We had Edge come out. Now, with all those emotions back and forth, this was very emotional for a lot of folks there in the arena.
There were people in my section crying.
Yes.
I almost did.
I almost did too. Porsche was bawling her eyes out, and of course, Jordan and Glenn are like, what? It's like,
stupid kid.
For as long as you've been alive, this guy's been injured, okay, kid? But
it reminded me back in the day when I was married, that episode of Raw where The Rock was announced as the guest host for Mania. And I'm like, I'm shedding a tear and I'm getting goosebumps. And the Iris, she's like, isn't that the Tooth Fairy? I was like, motherfucker, sit next to Dad. You gonna learn today. This is class. And man, and we're like right up together. And then when The Rock said Cena sucks, and then she's like starting to tear up. Oh, I didn't really feel like so. That's exactly what everyone in that audience was feeling on Sunday. Holy shit.
Like, there was a lot of, I'm going to be a little honest here. I was kind of hoping for neither Punk nor Edge. Now, we didn't get Punk, rightfully so. You had your little diatribe about Punk, and I agree with you 100%. But I kind of want to attribute a little bit of that towards Edge. I understand the reason for their departure are night and day, completely different. Punk left because he wanted to leave because of sour grapes. Edge didn't want to leave. He had to for his physicality and his well-being, right? So it makes sense that, like, you can heal the body, but you can't necessarily heal the heart and heal the brain sometimes. That's what Punk has. The injury Punk has is an injury to his soul. And I don't think he's ever going to get over it, and I don't blame him, okay? But Edge, on the other hand, Edge was a physical thing. So him coming back, that is where all that emotionality comes into play, where it's like he can complete what's in his soul, which is he wants to be there and compete. And you saw it on his face. Now, the angle that I had, and this is where I'm going to be completely honest, the angle that I had, all I saw was on the screen, it said Edge. On the other big screen, it said Edge.
The smoke.
And I saw the smoke and the fireworks. I never saw his face.
Until I got home. WWE Network, WWE Facebook posted it. And oh man.
I never got to see his face, but we were all feeling the same feeling he was feeling without knowing he felt it.
Yeah.
You know? And it was emotional, man. Seeing him come back in that way, I'm very happy about it. And then his performance. Holy shit, his performance. Yes, he injured AJ. You could maybe attribute a little bit of that to AJ injuring AJ, over-rotating and not taking the bump flat. I think he just wanted to sell extra for Edge, which is understandable. But
which is something AJ normally does very well.
Right.
So this might just be
like
yeah.
It might just be one of those things. Like, I'm not.
Everybody has a bad day for whatever reason.
Yeah,
was AJ.
I'm not going to be as harsh on that particular injury as I was the stuff at Worlds Collide. Right, one, because it was just one thing, and then two, because it's kind of hard to tell whose fault it was. Right, yeah. But when you have somebody on script, just like in the Worlds Collide match, that you had to get rid of, and you had to flip the script. It does one of two things. Either you get flustered and you start whiffing kicks and accidentally almost dropping folks and missing your DDT wheelbarrow spots, or you become Edge and you're the fucking ring general and you know what's going on and you just pick up where you left off and you leave people in the arena not knowing that an injury happened. I didn't fucking know anything about that injury until I got home and it was on the internet and all that later that day, and I had to rewatch the Rumble to be like, oh, fuck, I see that. I had no idea at the arena right then and there. I thought what had happened with Edge going all the way to the very end and all this, I thought that was exactly 100% as planned.
Did the right man win the Rumble?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Defend yourself. Not even 5 minutes ago, you said that he didn't need to win the Rumble because he already eliminated Brock.
You're right.
So defend yourself. Look at them.
Who else?
I'm so glad you said that.
Who else would it have been?
I'm glad you said that.
Because it was not Brock and it was not Roman.
Thank you. WWE is starting to learn.
They're going to learn today.
They know how to fuck with you.
And they fucked with me.
Don't act like you've never seen this before, because I'm going to remind you. Who did Shinsuke Nakamura eliminate to win his Rumble?
I don't remember.
Roman.
Oh.
Who did Randy Orton eliminate in San Antonio to win the Rumble?
Roman.
Who did fucking Drew McIntyre eliminate?
Roman.
Because you know the fans, again, that sexual tension, you're going to cut their dick off before you let them bust that nut until you see that Roman's both feet touch the floor and we can breathe again.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Out of that Final Four, Final Five kerfuffle, Final Seven, if you want to even go that far, out of all of them, we know it's not going to be Joe. We know it's not going to be KO. We know it's not going to be Seth. Or Alistair. Or it could be one of those three. But that would be weird and not make sense. But you have time between there and I mean, God, it better not be Seth.
And
what
remember,
if it is Seth? Oh fuck, Roman's still in there.
And remember, the last couple of years, just because you win that Royal Rumble does not mean you're ending the show. So you can risk. You can take a risk on KO or Joe.
Yeah.
Or rumor one on the Nets with the Z was even Alistair.
Or could it be Orton or Edge? What the hell? Can Edge actually win this?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know Orton could win this.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Orton again in the main event? What's he going to do? Going to Bray, Brock, Orton versus... Oh, fucking fuck. But it's at least it's better than Roman, but only slightly better than Roman. Like, it's eating dog food and not vomited dog food, but it's still gross. Like, who the fuck else?
Orton versus Cole?
I mean, maybe... That's another thing that went through people's minds, or at least my mind. Could it be somebody challenging for the NXT title?
A lot of stuff that didn't make the air last week was me pushing the fact that somebody's winning a Rumble and challenging for an NXT title.
Very possible.
And the story's already there with Keith Lee and Undisputed Era, but you want to put the shine on NXT. I wouldn't have minded Orton over there or fucking... If you told the story right, because I said this before, that there's things I didn't like, and then come WrestleMania, they turned it around on me. You could easily remember Roman beat cancer. We're not supposed to put this guy.
Right.
And technically, I don't say this often. I loved the street fight with Roman. He was winning some equity So if you're gonna tell me Roman, NXT alum, is gonna go to NXT and be like, I'm the gatekeeper. You don't go there unless you go through me. We get Roman versus somebody at you could have won me around. So it was this Rumble. There were a lot of believable candidates in that last 4, 5, 6, 7. You have time.
And I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said about that street fight with Roman. Roman with the Usos?
Bloodline?
A little bit more bearable.
Bloodline?
A little bit more bearable.
I'll run with that.
I'll run with that being a faction. Yeah. Let him do the faction thing. Doesn't necessarily have to be challenging for a title, but it makes sense. You know, Roman may even be getting a bit of a rub off of the Usos. The fuck? All you got to do now is, which you've already done it before, acknowledge that Naomi is a part of that family. And now you have a faction that's more than just 3 dudes. It's like 4 people. One woman's in a different division because it's a woman. Okay, you might have some stuff here that might be a little bit more interesting that makes Roman more palatable. And one day, maybe he doesn't go the way of Cena where everybody hates him. Maybe at some point he goes the way of The Rock, where people hated him, but then they wound up loving him.
What if we were to out-impact and have a 8-person tag at Mania with Seth and his congregation against Bloodline? Roman, Usos, Naomi.
That ain't gonna happen, but I'd like it if it did. But
Seth and AOP
happen.
Against Bloodline, 6-man tag.
I mean,
that you can build. That's.
I mean, we're jumping way too far into fantasy. We're an hour and 13 minutes in.
Yeah.
We need to
cut
out some of the fluffy fantasy stuff.
But I think, for booking's sake, I think it doesn't hurt at all to give the extra rub that not only Drew eliminated Brock, he won the fucker. He got a sample.
You're right.
He got the appetizer. Now he wants like the 4-course meal.
Yeah. Okay. Ready. Exactly. Because again, now 2020 vision, right? Pun not intended.
Barbara Walters, you down?
Yes. if it was like how I was thinking it was going to be the first time, you know, because I walked everybody through my mindset of who's winning, right? If it was like how I thought it was going to be the first time, the person that eliminates Brock fights Brock, that may not be enough. Mm-hmm. Because the way, I mean, let's be honest here. It's not like they've been building Drew for months and months and months. They haven't been. He kind of showed up.
Testing the waters with the countdown.
They've been sprinkling stuff. He was
talking
heel,
on the promo stuff. You know, I'm the most attractive Scottish you'd ever seen, which makes Scott from Scott very uncomfortable.
Right,
but that's just him.
I mean, it's they've been throwing a lot of stuff at that wall, but the pasta's still in the pot boiling. If you had just only have him eliminate Brock and then. Oh, okay, Brock versus that would still be kind of like, great, another Brock match. Who's he going to squash? Oh, some dude who eliminated him. That's it. But not only did he eliminate him, he also dominated the rest of the field and won the fucker.
That's 2.
I was wrong.
And then 3. What's
3?
He went on Raw and he challenged Brock.
Yeah,
he's beaten Lesnar and Brock to the punch and Heyman. He wants some.
So now with the lack of build over the last few months or so, he's made just that one match. So yes, you needed to book him that strongly to be somebody that could go up against Brock. Now, am I convinced that he's going to win? Hell no.
I don't know.
I right now I am not convinced that he's winning. I am still convinced that the only person that could probably beat Brock as of right now would be the Fiend. What?
Remember whose show this is?
Mine.
WWE.
Oh, okay.
It's Vince's show.
Yeah.
And we're just making building it up to be Roman food.
Okay.
And I mentioned it earlier. Roman doesn't need the Rumble win to challenge Bray. We got 3 months of storyline to factor that in to where we get there. And even then, I'm not going to talk too much more about it. But Drew versus Brock as the first official match for Mania. I'm in.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Are we ready to wrap up the men's Rumble match talk?
By saying that that's my 3rd match as contender for match of the week.
Now, we've talked about this before. We usually, historically, as Houston Wrestling Radio, don't count Rumble matches for match of the weeks or match of the years because they're just a completely different animal from regular matches.
Mm-hmm. Blake McCormick's match of the week is the men's Rumble.
Okay.
Jeff Milheim's match of the week is the men's Rumble. So out of some of the votes, we've had about 5 votes, about 2/3 of them, or
2/5
of them is the men's Rumble.
Okay.
Robert Medlin, Undisputed Era against Imperium. Jeremy Clinton, DIY versus Mustache Mountain. And Elias also jumped on that Mustache Mountain DIY bandwagon.
Okay.
So,
wow, no love for the 4-way. Mm-mm. Wow. I guess I'm the only one preaching the 4-way, huh? Huh. Okay.
Yeah. I think I'm leaning towards, if I have to pick, it would have to be Mustache Mountain against DIY. But in the Rumble's defense, I saw it live, and then I saw it twice after the fact on the network with commentary. Bro. By the way, Matt Riddle. Bro, it does not feel like an hour. That thing goes, dude. That's hour 15 minutes.
Well, that first half is just agonizing, depending on your
depending on
perspective. Yeah, depending on how you ask.
It wasn't agonizing for me. I was Michael Jackson with the popcorn. I was enjoying it. But now that we've talked about the men's Royal Rumble,
can I? I don't know what you have planned, but what I want to talk about next is the women's Royal Rumble. Is that where you were going to go?
I love to be hated on this show. Aside from, is that a 10 or an 11? For me, the women's at about 9 or 9.5. Cool. That women's Rumble was easily the best women's Rumble they've had so far. That was a great story.
I agree.
Bianca Belair is the EST.
She is.
Woo! Everything we said about Keith Lee in the men's Rumble, insert fucking take him out, put in Bianca Belair. She's over. We're over.
Chris, shut up for a second.
Go. I'm gonna get another water.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go.
I want to point out some parallels between the two Rumble matches. So we already established that the men's Rumble match was a tale of two Rumbles, right? So was the women's. Let me explain. Bianca Belair dominated the first half of that match. The person who eliminated Bianca Belair in the middle, around the teens, 17 to be exact, Charlotte. Charlotte was the one to dominate the second half of that match. Who won? Charlotte. Same like Brock and Drew, right? We had a big return. Edge. That big return lasted and went the distance all the way to the end. And you thought, holy shit, there's a chance. We had a big return. Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix went the distance, lasted all the way to the end. Holy shit, she has a chance. Right? Right? So there's parallels there. Yeah, there are parallels. The only... there may be a few more kind of peppered in there, but it's weird. Like, this men's Rumble match was really good, but so was the women's. And we watched the women's first because we watched it live. But it wasn't until I started watching after the fact that I realized there's some parallels. Also, Final Four. The Final Four was returning veteran and a veteran who's been around for a while, who have been known to team up, going up against the person that's probably going to win and the person that is kind of an up-and-comer new person that you want to win, right? Team-rated RKO, Drew, Roman.
Divas of Doom.
Divas of Doom, Shayna, Charlotte. So who won the men's? Drew, the up-and-comer that you weren't expecting. You kind of want to. Who won the women's? Not the up-and-comer you were expecting, the other one.
The Roman with boobs.
Right. The Roman with boobs, right? But the tag team, what happened? What happened with the tag team? One turned on the other. What happened in the women's? One turned on the other. Right?
Yeah.
Right? There's some fucking parallels there. Shot of whiskey. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. Were they both that good because they were booked with the same fucking formula and we were too dopey to notice it? Or did they stumble upon the formula? Because I don't remember this being the formula. Am I wrong? Have they used this formula before?
This isn't a...
Oh, another parallel. I'm sorry. Another parallel. The person that dominated in the first half, Brock and Bianca, both set records. Bianca set a record for the most eliminations that a woman's ever done. Brock set a record for the most eliminations consecutively in a row. Sorry.
This isn't a tale of two cities. It's two different directions. It's two different paths in the same city.
Okay.
Because this wasn't Bianca Belair being unstoppable. She had more than one person at a time, and there was a lot of things going on. You know, there were a lot of... Again, there's not a lot of women in the main roster, so you have to supplement that with a lot of people that we weren't prepared for. So when I saw Dakota Kai, Tegan Knox, Xia Li, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, I was like, I damn near stood up for every NXT girl that came out because I wasn't expecting it, you know. And a lot of them was their first Royal Rumble, and a lot of them did well. But again, the common thread was Bianca was holding it together. Bianca and Alexa. There's again the what ifs. Bianca, Alexa, right off the bat. Give me more of that.
I loved their chemistry together.
Yeah,
how they were both faces, they were respecting each other. But damn it, I gotta whoop that ass. And
Bianca and Nikki Cross, we saw that in NXT. Give me more. Later on, towards the end, who the fuck does not want to see Charlotte versus Shayna?
Yes. Yeah.
And it was good. It was cohesive. I mean, we can't go on about how the fucking men's was, but I mean, Bianca Belair stood her ground. NXT took over again. Charlotte won it. The blueprint again. It's the same building, except, for example, the kitchen's over there and the bathroom's over there and the living room space. It's different, but the layout's the same. The square footage is the same.
Yeah,
and it's a nice house. And the match was fucking again. For all the flaws about people complaining about the niche you could pick in the men's, honestly, I don't see a flaw in the women's match.
There was 7 women announced, 23 unknowns in the women. There was 27 men announced, 3 unknowns,
and now 2 in the last minute that we didn't know weren't going to be in it.
Right. So that so that added to the mystery. You had your comedy spot in both. The one with Shelton Benjamin, then you had the comedy spot with Santina Marella. Right? It was a comedy spot. It was.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Not everybody did.
Not everybody did, but you know who did love it? My feminist wife, Randy. She loved it because she said that it was done the way it should have been done. He got intimidated by the women and eliminated himself, jumped over. Right? It wasn't like, what was the guy's name that helped Carmella win the...
Ellsworth.
Yeah, it wasn't Ellsworth. We got to get a man to help you. No. It was like, okay, it was also a nice redemption for the shit that happened 10 years ago as well. With Santina. And Santina being Miss WrestleMania, eliminating Beth Phoenix. Like it was done well. It's done well. I was very excited. I didn't know who was going to win. That's where this is where it falls short of the men's, right? The men's, the intrigue, the story with who actually won and how and this and that. Because with Charlotte, it was like, well, okay, Charlotte wins again. Mm-hmm. I don't really, in the moment, they're at Minute Maid. I don't really give a shit who she fights. I don't care if she fights Becky. I don't care if she fights Asuka. I don't care if she fights Bayley. Fuck.
Throw a mattress in there and fight Andrade.
Yeah. Ooh. Maybe I would care about that. But I've softened my opinion a little on that today.
Okay.
Because I saw a rumor. News with the Z.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Before we close the chapter on the women's match.
Okay.
I gave a suggestion on a knit that I would have wanted to pick.
Please.
With Walter. I'm going to do the same thing with the women that I think would have helped the women. I would have loved to see Tegan Knox, Dakota Kai go in there first, eliminate 1 or 2, prove that you're not just there to bake, you're there to business. You're there to work. You can handle it. Next person, obviously, Tegan Knox. They both start going at it in the middle of the ring.
Okay.
You see one of the girls from the corner try to separate them and get some. Tegan Knox pushes that girl down. She turns right back around and goes back to Dakota some more. Somebody tries to grab Dakota by the hair. Dakota knocks him down, but then she turns right back around and goes right back at Tegan Knox. Again, parallels like Drew and Brock.
Okay.
Keep your eyes on the prize.
Yeah.
Both of them literally eliminate each other because they are only looking at each other.
Okay.
Horse viewing. They don't see anything else around them except the person in front of them. To the point that, and again, not to be derogatory to the rest of the women that are in the match at the time, but get about 30 or 45 seconds of both the girls brawling in the empty seats. Like, see them do their own false count anywhere. This is how serious this is to them. Oh, I need to see a takeover because if they can do this to each other in this environment, they're going to kill the fuck out of each other at takeover. I need to see that.
Now
I would have wanted more of a showcase of those two.
That spot happened less intensely between Liv and Lana.
Mm-hmm. And in hindsight, that's probably why they wanted to save that for them.
Yeah.
Which worked for them.
Yeah.
But come on now. You're losing the ratings war on Wednesdays. You need something to hook a casual audience. Again, it took a casual audience a long time to figure out that Raw's 3 hours now. It took the audience a long time to figure out they're no longer on USA. They're on TNN. And then it took them just as long to find out they're not on TNN. They're back on USA. It took an audience a long time to figure out that they went from Friday Night SmackDown to Thursday Night SmackDown to Thursday Night SmackDown, but we're taping it on a Tuesday, to Friday, but we're still taping it on a Tuesday, to Friday, but it's actually Friday. So You need to hammer these stupid fucking morons as hard as you can, as often as you can, that you have a third fucking brand, and that needs some love too. Thick thighs save lives. You need to give the big girl some love. NXT needs the attention. You need to focus some of that stuff on NXT. Just like Keith Lee got the shine, just like Matt Riddle got the shine on the men's Rumble. You needed something for the women. Again, Bianca got it, but there's more people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's more than one person that got it on NXT. For the men's, you needed at least one more on the women's. And that's that spot of those two, you know, just beating the hell out of each other.
Okay.
Other than that, that women's match was fun as shit.
I wanna highlight two things from the women's match. One, that shit with Mandy and Otis and Sonya was amazing.
My heart.
I loved it. That was the best way for that to happen. Fall on top of him, stood up on him, pointed, gave the little googly eyes, got back in.
Did you read the Twitter machine?
No.
Otis is like, I'll always be there to catch you, my little peach.
Oh. And then he caught her a second time.
Because you know Otis. You know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He wants those two hams under Mandy's shirt. Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And then Sonya fucks it up.
No, until the third wheel's like, hey, who's paying for my drinks?
Yeah.
And they're all dead.
And then Sonya fucked it up and landed on both of them. That was funny. That was good. Yeah.
What's your other point?
My other point was I liked, and this is going to sound kind of stupid because I like the non-elimination by Naomi this year more so than any of the other non-eliminations that I've seen either by Benjamin or Kofi or even Naomi. Here's why. The way she struggled and thought about what she was going to do, how she was going to do it to get back into the ring. Almost like she was also going to take a breather. Also like she was still reacting to the shit with Santino. You know, like it seemed a little bit more organic and less cheesy hokey than what we've seen escalating for the last 10 years between Benjamin, Kofi, and her. You know, like this one, okay, she fucking did what's that called in parkour? Is that a Kong? Yeah, that's a Kong move. Yeah, that's a parkour. The Kong move on the thing.
I look like I parkour.
Yeah, I know, right? Which, okay, here we go. It's going to be cheesy, but she struggled. She pulled herself up. Yep. She shimmied along. Oh, papa. She shimmied along. And then she got up on the
quack.
Hi. She got up on the announcer tables. And it's like, well, all right, idiot, how you going to get back? And then you saw her like,
how are you going to do it that no one else has already done it?
Can I make this? I don't know. Let me walk this other way. Can I make it here? No. Oh, fuck. Okay. And she like, all right, well, let me take a breather and figure this out. You know, and it's like, oh, duh, to make a bridge. Like, it was just so, like, stupid, simple, easy. You didn't have to do, like, a fucking cartwheel, jump on one leg, and then get back in there. Like, it's just, okay, let me put a bridge. That was it. It was simple. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
You reminded me of one thing that happened in the women's match. Okay. I think there was a moment where somebody was hiding or something. I forget who it was. It wasn't obvious and it wasn't overly done, but I'm hoping that they make some kind of rule in the future so that there isn't that, oh man, I thought she was eliminated. Oh,
it was Charlotte.
Yeah.
Charlotte went through the middle rope.
There has to be some kind of 20 count to where, are you hurt? Do you need to leave? Or you want to go home? Or you want to keep playing? You want to go home? Or you going to play? Well, vámonos. Métete. La chingada. Órale. Vámonos. We're got an hour.
Okay.
Because it's every fucking Royal Rumble, every fucking Battle Royal, somebody got to pitch a tent and camp while there's a fucking Rumble going on. Nah, we need to cut that shit out.
Okay.
That's the only thing I have.
Okay.
So that's it for the women.
Yeah. Now with Charlotte, she was obviously taking a break or whatever, but storyline wise, she got thrown out through the middle.
The Naomi made sense because you can literally see she's actually doing something.
Gears were turning.
She's investing in the story. She's giving me something to invest in.
Yeah.
Somebody just hiding under there. That's
well.
Nothing.
See, Charlotte wasn't just hiding. She was dead on the outside until Shayna showed up and killed her more. Yeah. That's who it was. It was Charlotte, but we didn't have the excessive, oh my God, I'm just going to hide,
Better women's title match.
Becky Asuka.
Hands down. Rather than saying things that I've already said before, I'm going to just notate that the Bayley heel thing's not working.
No.
Something in that story is not working for me.
She's just too generic now. She's just some bitch. That's what,
your feminist life is not going to like that.
Well, I don't mean it as like the derogatory term for a woman. I mean it as the term that women use to each other when they're calling each other assholes. Like, she's just some asshole. Just like a heel who's mean and me, like that's it. She doesn't have any persona. She don't have any character to it. I wish maybe she played up the angsty teenager part of it more, because she went from being like a bubbly preteen. Now she needs to be an angsty teenager. She's not an angsty teenager. She's just some bitch. And that's it. So like, it's not working for me, man. The generic ass butt rock music, the generic ass butt rock logo, and the Karen.
Can't boo that not generic butt.
Well, yeah, I mean, she still has some nalgas, but it's that's it.
Put a picnic on that.
And Lacey, okay, cool. I mean, I guess I don't know.
That
Lacey's not tickling my pickle.
Here's the issue with Lacey. They should have done this from the beginning. She should have been a face from the beginning. In NXT, she was a face.
Not come out for 3 months and not do anything.
Yeah. And even then, the face stuff, she needed a couple of heels to camera that gimmick over as her actually being a face, her being a Marine. Hell, actually televising this year's tribute to the troops and seeing the reaction Lacey could have got.
Have her in actual fucking fatigues with other Marines and stuff, like hanging out, being a real human.
It feels like it's too soon for Lacey. I'm not saying I don't want Lacey on my television. She's an attractive woman. She's a mom, girl power. She has a gimmick. She has a character. She has a finishing move. She's a weird way to say it. She's a 5-tool player.
Okay.
But she's just like in fucking AAA right now. Because you're not giving her enough time. You're expecting a AAA person to just like knock out home runs against fucking Garrett Cole and shit.
Yeah.
Nah, you need to go through the process. Yeah. And I don't think Lacey's gotten through the process yet. And if they continue trying and failing, it's gonna be like Braun, where it's like, oh, you missed the boat already on Braun.
And there's a big disconnect with me over the fact, and I think you kind of really put it on there. The disconnect with me is that I don't believe that she's this shining paragon of virtue. Yes. Because for the longest time, she wasn't. She was a heel. Oh, you nasties. Like, she had a catchphrase. Her catchphrase was because she was an asshole.
And she wasn't even a heel long enough for us to like it.
Yeah.
To become the face.
Yeah. And now she doesn't have a catchphrase because the catchphrase is derogatory.
No, she used the negative. She uses nasties at Charlotte as Sasha and
Does
Billy.
she?
She does.
Oh, okay.
But again, it's
when she would go up to the audience like that, whenever they went to go, she pulls away. And now she goes like that and kiss. Oh, here, have my towel, my handkerchief. Like, okay, if she had been doing that from the jump, consistency,
she'd be over by now.
Like right now, I'm expecting her to do that, and then be like, never mind, you ugly bitch, and like walk away. Like I'm expecting that Randy Orton heel turn, because
like right now, Garza's as a heel, Garza's kissing the first cute girl at ringside, and you're running with it.
Yeah,
and this you don't know. It's just
like I'm too leery because it's like
she's already in Big Show territory. You're like flipping and flopping so quick. Soon. I don't know, who are you?
Too soon. Yeah. I mean, hopefully, you should have just had her face from the get-go. Yeah. Okay.
Fiend's gonna fiend.
It was a good match. You know what? Both of the women's matches were good. They were solid. I thought they were going to be dog shit. They weren't dog shit. They were good enough. Same with I didn't think Fiend's match was going to be dog shit. I thought
you were worried. You were worried Fiend and D-Bry was going to be red dog shit.
Right.
Which it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was in regular lighting, which
Yeah.
was good. The entrance, seeing that live, was awesome. And the match was good. I mean, it's Bray and D-Bry,
They're competing for match of the year from fucking candidate from 4 years ago.
Right.
Or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we know they can deliver.
And they did deliver. And the story with the strap, I don't think hindered it. But I think it made it not be an instant classic. But it was still really good. The fucking welts already building up on D-Bry.
I can't wait to see him on Friday. Those welts are going to be obvious.
Yeah.
It's going to be like you play tic-tac-toe on that dude's back.
And the stuff with Fiend where he's just invincible, I'm digging it. And like, it's different than when Cena and Hogan and Roman were invincible, right? Like, for them, there was no reason why they were. But with Bray, we have a reason why he's invincible. It's because he's local.
He's our mankind.
Yes.
He's this generation's mankind.
And even mankind wasn't this invincible, right?
Unless it was against The Undertaker.
Right. But you could knock him out. You could give him a concussion, right?
Yeah.
You could have him knock out. He won't give up, but you could knock him out. But Fiend, you can't knock him out. I don't know why, but like his brain is just so fucked up that like you just can't beat him because of what's up here, not necessarily what's down here. What's up here in the head, it's interesting.
So it's official, the road to WrestleMania. Drew versus Brock.
Yep.
Question.
Yes.
Do we get Edge versus Orton at Mania? Or do we get it in Saudi?
Are you asking me what's going to happen, or are you asking me what I want to happen?
What do you want to happen?
Fuck it. Do it in Saudi. I want to see Edge versus somebody new. Some dream match that we haven't seen before. Yeah. I know it won't be most likely with AJ, because AJ will probably be injured.
Won't be ready.
Yeah, he probably won't be ready. But give me Edge versus, I don't know, Alistair. Edge versus... Roman. Why not Roman? Edge versus whoever the fuck else is Seth. Edge versus KO. Edge versus Joe. Edge versus...
You have the story.
D-Bry.
You have...
Edge versus D-Bry.
We have got that already. We have the story where Seth almost killed Christian with the concerto and Edge gave into the authority. You can call that back and do Edge versus Seth.
Yeah.
Especially now that Seth has the AOP and Buddy.
Yeah. That'll be the fourth to back up Alistair, Joe, and KO.
However, after Monday, that's your co-main event of WrestleMania.
You think so?
Yeah.
Not your main event of Saudi. Because remember, all the Saudi shows try to be WrestleMania event quality, right?
Yeah, but no.
I could see the Saudis have been requesting that.
Hopefully Vince is smart enough that he needs that on his American show.
Okay. I don't know. Those rupees are sometimes a little bit shinier than the greenbacks.
That's true. I have it being before the main event, the last match of the night. I have that second to last match of the night. Edge, man. He had everybody in the palm of his hand.
He did.
And then Orton, man, I don't want to be an asshole towards Orton because I don't know the guy, but it comes across when he's motivated, when he has someone that he can really sink his teeth into. Second to none, dude.
He doesn't phone it in. I feel I'm picking up what you're putting down, dude. Here. Sometimes he phones it in.
For an example. The reaction on his face after he RKO's Nia Jackson last year's Royal Rumble. That's the look you're supposed to have. Like, I didn't know we had to go this far for a woman. For that woman who's not like most women.
Okay.
Orton like hesitating. Even if you go back and hear that segment, Orton before he did the concerto, he either whispers or audibly says, "I don't know if I can do this." And then he still hit the motherfucker with it.
Yeah.
He teased going on the top turnbuckle,
Mm-hmm.
and then he thought about it, and then he left.
Yeah, and then he came back.
Oh my God,
the internal struggle of what was going on with Orton and in his mind was interesting.
It's not on the same level, but I compare it to the drop ball of having Jericho and KO be the second match, when storyline, that might have been one of the most storyline driven matches, the storyline feuds that was on television. That had to have been towards the end of the show because you had emotional stake. This is times 100. You and I were at the juice box.
Yeah.
I don't remember because it's been a long time. I was in the fucking Astrodome. I saw that guy in the fucking Astrodome.
I saw him
18 years ago. 18
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
That's Fogo de Chao steak. Like, that's how much steak is in this. You cannot have this in anywhere near the first hour of WrestleMania. You cannot have this in front of an audience that literally booed when they showed the Super Showdown footage that they were going back to Saudi at the juice box. Everyone in that audience booed when they showed they were going back to Saudi. Imagine the backlash they're going to get if Edge versus Orton main events a show that's not in the United States. That has to be second to last. Depending how this goes, fuck it. Main event WrestleMania with that.
Fuck.
How many people cry at a return?
Not D-Bry?
Did you see the girls on in San Antonio? The crowd reactions to all the shit Orton was doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your hardcore wrestling crowd. That's your casual wrestling crowd. That's your total divas crowd. That got everybody. Everybody.
Not everybody.
Who's missing?
The kids. Gwen and Jordan both like, who's that? They have zero fucks to give. He's been gone for 9 years. Gwen and Jordan are both 10. Well, I think one just turned 11. 10 and 11. They have no idea who the fuck. No idea. Even go as far up as like 15. They're not going to know. You know how important kids are to Vince.
They know Orton enough that if he does something bad, they're going to boo Orton.
Okay.
They don't need to completely cheer Edge. They need to fucking boo Orton.
Okay.
And the shit that Orton was doing, he was getting booed by all the ages.
Okay.
All the sexes, all the races, all. Yeah. He had everybody.
Okay.
So if not the main event, definitely co-main event of WrestleMania in Tampa. But the $64,000 question. What about that Charlotte fella?
You stopped me before I could get there. News with the Z. Going back to how it's shaded, the 2020 vision is shading the way I feel about the Women's Royal Rumble.
Before you say news with a Z, what did I tell you last week?
I don't know what.
That somebody has to challenge
for the
what?
NXT and NXT title.
Continue.
News with the Z says that Charlotte is slated to be in Orlando tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
NXT
Why?
territory.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Well, we don't know why. But what the news with the Z is speculating, she's going to challenge for the NXT title. Challenge Rhea Ripley. She has been kind of going on saying, she's done everything. She's beat everybody. The one monkey wrench in that is that her promo after she said, "This is my division." So she didn't say, like, if you're on the main roster, you say, "This is my division," you're not referencing NXT. So that's the one thing that casts a little bit of doubt on that there. But if she showed up at Full Sail, and if she said, "I'm challenging that new girl," then, that'd be interesting. Do you think it could turn into a 3-way with Shayna?
I love the idea of Charlotte going for the NXT title.
Okay.
I hate, if it happens, that we're talking about it the Wednesday after the Royal Rumble. You still have technically you can't go to Super Showdown because you have a vagina. You have Elimination Chamber. You can still have, and you have Takeover Portland. So if she said on the telly, I'm not ready, I need more time. We don't need to hear this until March. We're still in January.
Okay.
March. Because as much as we wanted Rhea Ripley in the Rumble, which we didn't get, thank God we didn't get it. And as cool as Charlotte versus Rhea would be, what if Bayley were to lose the women's title in an Elimination Chamber match to Shayna?
Fuck.
Or because we got, I'm not trying to be a fanboy, that's what they showed me at the Rumble, that Shayna and Charlotte faced off.
That's true. They had a fierce little face.
What they also showed me in the Rumble is this cute little black girl with long ass hair like Indiana Jones whipping fools who
she didn't whip anybody, but
who could possibly beat Rhea for the title at TakeOver. And what if we get a continuation of what we saw in the Rumble with Charlotte versus Bianca at Mania?
The person that
so I don't want to hear Charlotte until March. Otherwise, you're already starting on the wrong foot. I understand if I'm writing the WWE checks that I'm sick of losing the Wednesday Night War against AEW. I need ammunition because we had this conversation before. We had this conversation at a fucking Chili's in Orlando after WrestleMania 24 when CM Punk, an ECW guy, won the Money in the Bank, and we're wondering, how is this going to help ECW? So this is exactly what they're trying to do, is to get ratings for their third brand. So I understand that from a business standpoint. But as a fan, reading a story, I don't want to jump to the end. I still have all these pages that are blank. We need to get on this. So I like the idea. Just need more time. Give it time. We already got one person bust his nut and says he knows who he's fighting. So the other one needs to wait a while.
Okay.
So, but other than that, shit, Charlotte versus any of those girls, a new girl, and again, an NXT title match at WrestleMania. That's the most casualist of casual shows for even the most dumbest of person to be like, ooh, NXT. Okay, when is it on? When's NXT on? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need some of that NXT. I see where they're going, but just don't calm down.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So
and that would make sense for her as the character because she came out with all the assholery saying, "I'm not telling you. Do that for a month and a half. Why not?" Yeah. Then that asshole and that also gives her the advantage of knowing who has what belt after Portland, after Chamber. Now she could really cherry pick who she wants. Mm-hmm. So you could say now, I want to fight Becky. After Chamber, Becky doesn't have the title, and now you got to fight Brock Lesnar. I don't want to. Can you imagine Brock Lesnar as a women's champ? Santina Marella.
I honestly don't want to see Charlotte versus Becky again.
I don't want to see Charlotte versus Bayley either. Charlotte versus Asuka.
No, retroactively, I don't even see Bayley going to WrestleMania with the title.
That's very possible.
So throw me a monkey wrench and somebody take it off of her at Chamber, and it's the safest way to protect her and give Bayley the rematch after Mania in some show or whatever. But so far for Mania, assuming Drew Brock, Edge Orton, Charlotte versus someone from NXT. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that there's a big glaring hole right now that I really want to be filled, which is the fuck is the Fiend going to do?
Oh, that's easy. Roman's winning some kind of match. He's the number one contender. Again, he doesn't
think so. So he's going to move away from the bloodline stuff and all that.
As of Sunday, I think his feud with Corbin is done.
Corbin doesn't think so.
Done. It's over.
Corbin doesn't think so.
Says what?
Says him.
Where?
He's cut a promo on Raw. He was like, he thinks that he does this and that. I don't remember his fucking wording, but he addressed it. So he still has beef. Oh, I remember what he said. He said he had to have help to beat me. Like as if he didn't have help.
That's Super Showdown.
Oh,
they'll finish it a Super Showdown.
Okay.
And then you have an elimination chamber for number one contender. And Roman, the guy that survived the chamber, who beat 5 other guys. Oh, by the way, who beat Cancer. That's the guy that's going to lose to the Fiend at Mania. Again, you're building up this good equity with Roman. He had an awesome match at Minute Maid, you know? Give Bray the shine and have him win the first. If he never wins again, he had his Mania moment. His character beat the unbeatable Roman Reigns.
Which he lost to Cena.
Yeah. You can do it right. We're almost there.
Okay.
And then the rest just fills in.
Right. Yeah.
But so far, 48 hours in, I'm looking at StubHub.
You son of a bitch. What you need to do is...
Well, I did eBay for the when I did it the last minute, so I might do eBay again, but I'm looking at StubHub.
You don't have any problems getting tickets to the show. What you need to do is what Foreman and 4Woman now, formerly Bacon, 4Woman did, is just fucking book the right fucking plane to Orlando or wherever.
Yeah.
Because so their honeymoon started at Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Then they were going to get on a flight to go to Disney. That same flight happened to have almost half of the NXT roster with them. So you got to chill with Fish, O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Bebe, Candice LeRae, Matt Riddle. Yeah, so I got to meet and chill with all these people on the fucking plane from Houston to Orlando. That's what you need to get better at.
It took me a second to figure out that I went to the Minute Maid early on Sunday to pick up my tickets, and walking around, I passed Jacob Fatu.
Oh, cool.
He's there in sweats and shit, just walking around Minute Maid.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I missed out. Apparently, fucking
Sammy Guevara
and a little toy tank.
I missed it. Apparently, there was only like 12 people that actually witnessed it, but yeah.
Still, it's funny.
Yeah.
Man, I'm still obviously if you can't hear it, I'm still on the come down.
Yeah.
From that adrenaline rush.
You're still basking in the glow.
Dopamine, glow, alcohol, whatever. Like, I literally just took alcohol to try to finally dumb down whatever's left. But, God, fuck. That was an awesome weekend.
It was.
Top to bottom.
Really
on
good.
par. NXT, both sides of NXT and WWE on the same level, knocked it out of the park.
They did.
It's rare that happens.
They weren't even stealing signs.
They stole mine. I had these cool ideas for fucking Keith Lee and me and him, and it took me like 2.5 hours to make them. And he took my signs.
Womp womp.
Oh, well. Maybe next time.
So, provided that this actually recorded and that we're actually able to upload it and that everything works and you actually are listening to my voice right now, provided that that's the case, then we will attempt our year in review, or excuse me, our decade in review episode again. So stay tuned to that. Also, what will be the following episode after that?
Tentatively.
This entire thing is tentatively right now.
We have on the books a quick preview of New Beginnings in Japan. There's a lot of stuff going on in New Japan right now. Just a quick little like cliff notes. There's a New Beginnings tour going on right now here in the United States. Marty Scurll showed up at the event. From NWA
I heard about this.
And from Ring of Honor, and he challenged your favorite, Jay White, to a match at Supercard of Honor WrestleMania weekend, which there's a lot of stuff on the periphery of WrestleMania weekend, again, that this year is compelling me to go.
There always is.
Bloodsport 3, Suzuki's already confirmed for that. That's on a Thursday. Supercard of Honor's got a lot of people. Nick Aldis is on that card also, among other people. Fucking the return of Kenta to Ring of Honor.
Nice.
He'll be at Supercard of Honor.
Nice.
Of course, the big meal tickets obviously take over you know. But at the same time, if you have enough talent, you can probably sell out that fucking Ring of Honor show the day before. Impact TNA Homecoming is happening. They've got some names that are signed up for that show. I'm waiting to see some matches, but dude, there's at least 30 different shows without WWE or Access. There's at least 30 shows that are happening that week/weekend that if you don't even want to go anywhere near WWE talent, you'll still get enough. You saw what I did the last time I did with New Orleans, fucking Lucha Underground and Impact together. Then the next night, Ring of Honor Supercard with Kenny Omega and Cody. There's a lot. Man, right now is a hell of a time to be a wrestling fan. You don't need to complain about what you don't like. Just find something you do like. Fuck, why waste all the energy?
That being said, I'm going to make a proclamation that can change. But as of right now, something is different about 2020 than it has been in the recent years past. That after Royal Rumble, this year, I'm excited for WrestleMania. Which that hasn't been the case. I know that there's been a lot of times where it's fucking the second week of March. And it's like, hey, you got that WrestleMania feeling yet? I'm like, no, I don't. I don't know if it's because, we were there for Rumble or if it was just the fact that this Rumble was really fucking good. Maybe it's a combination of both.
You got a good foundation to build on with this Rumble.
Which is something that you can't have said fucking 4 years ago, 2 years ago.
This might have been top to bottom. This might have been one of the best Royal Rumbles in the past at least 5 years. Yeah. And that's saying something with fan favorites like Nakamura winning, like
AJ Styles
debuting, which I was also there for. And being in San Antonio for 10. There's a lot of moments in a lot of these but in the last 5 years at least, top to bottom, this has been the best Rumble.
Yeah, this was really good. So I kind of have that WrestleMania season feeling the fucking day or two after Rumble, which I don't remember that happening to me in a long time. I mean, long time, So I'm pretty excited right now. Yeah. That could change next week. Fucking, I don't know, Roman wins and we're going to see Roman versus, fucking Drew. Drew gets injured or some shit like that.
Don't put that on him. The fuck is wrong with you? Roman needs to get hurt. Roman needs to get hurt.
No, now
it's not HIV. It's full-blown AIDS.
Yeah, it's like un corona.
The Kung Flu?
Yeah, the Kung Flu. Un coronavirus. See.
Anything else, brother?
I believe that's it. Adios, my friends. Keep it classy. 2 minutes and 1 second. Or
2 hours.
2 hours and 1 minute.
I hit end stream. Come on, let's end this.
You haven't ended it?
There we go.